Hi, precious heart. Thank you for joining us for our weekly vlog. During this past few weeks, we have received an incredible influx of light from the opening of the Lion's Gate, which occurred from July 26th through August 12th. During that time, the increase in light bathing the earth and all her life allowed the I Am Presence and the body elemental and silent watcher of each and every one of us to recalibrate our chakra systems, our nervous systems, and all of our acupuncture meridians and acupuncture points. This has accelerated our frequency of vibration to allow us to receive higher frequencies of sacred knowledge from the highest realms of illumined truth. As you know, we're moving forward step by step in this ascension process. Today we're going to talk about a shift of consciousness that's taken place and the knowledge and sacred information being given to us from on high will help all of us to reach into those higher frequencies as we prepare for the next step of our ascension process. Please join me now and listen to these words through the flame of illumined truth pulsating within the divinity of your heart. The Company of Heaven has shared with us that during this wondrous but often chaotic and confusing time, the unique awakening taking place this year is succeeding beyond even the expectations of heaven. We are being told that due to the intensity of light humanity is now capable of receiving, our Father, Mother, God are sounding a cosmic tone in every person's heart flame. This cosmic tone is specifically designed to activate within humanity's 12 fifth-dimensional strands of DNA new levels of comprehension about the oneness of all life and how we can implement that truth in our experiences every day. This is creating a powerful upward shift of consciousness within the masses of humanity. The Company of Heaven is assuring us that even though this massive shift of consciousness may not be obvious when we observe the negativity surfacing in the outer world to be healed, it is occurring under the radar at a grassroots level in every country on the planet. The key to transfiguring the world and completing our ascension onto the new earth is for the masses of humanity to remember the oneness of all life and to live out of that heart-based realization. Throughout the remainder of 2025, there will be a cosmic endeavor involving the unified efforts of awakening humanity and the Company of Heaven. This facet of our Father, Mother, God's divine plan will accelerate humanity's knowing of the oneness of all life to a conscious level. This is destined to occur within the hearts of even the most asleep or resistant sons and daughters of God. When every person fully comprehends the oneness of all life, humanity will change the way we are thinking, feeling, and acting toward each other. We will clearly see the dire effects of our hateful and polarizing behavior, and we will realize that our pain and suffering is self-inflicted. This will motivate us to seek answers, and it will help to inspire us to tap into the viable solutions now pulsating in the mental and emotional strata of the new earth. It helps to know that we do not have a choice as to whether or not we are one with all life. This is a reality for every particle and wave of life throughout the whole of creation. All we have a choice about is whether or not we will accept this truth. Not accepting this truth, however, is precisely what has caused the vast majority of humanity's pain and suffering. I would like to briefly share with you what was revealed to me decades ago during my quest for answers as to why humanity is suffering so much. Hopefully, this sacred knowledge will help you to realize how critical it is for all of us to accept this truth if we truly want to change our lives and end the pain and suffering on earth. From the time I was a very small child, I kept asking the question, why is there so much pain and suffering in the world? Even from a child's perspective, I knew that the negative things I was witnessing and experiencing were not the way things were supposed to be on earth. When I was older, I studied the gamut of world religions and sought answers in the fields of science and psychology. During my quest, I became aware that there is a unifying thread of truth running through all of the various schools of thought. That truth reveals that we are responsible for how we choose to use our life force through our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. It also confirms that we will experience the results of our actions. This means, quite literally, that the energy we expend in whatever we are thinking, feeling, saying, or doing not only affects everybody and everything in our sphere of influence, it eventually returns to us through our everyday life experiences. In the realms of illumined truth, this unifying thread of knowledge is known as the law of the circle. In Eastern philosophies, this principle is referred to as karma, or the law of cause and effect. In Judeo-Christian teachings, this law is described by various phrases such as reaping what we sow, or casting our bread upon the water and having it returned to us. There is also a phrase that says, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Gandhi said if we follow that philosophy, we will all end up blind and toothless. The statement should actually say, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hug for a hug, and a kiss for a kiss, so we see the whole picture. In science, the law of the circle is demonstrated in statements such as like attracts like, or radiation and magnetization, or for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And finally, in metaphysical terms, the law of this circle is described as the out-breath and the in-breath of our Father, Mother, God. The law of the circle confirms that at any given moment, our lives are reflecting back to us the sum total of our past experiences, and whatever we are currently empowering with our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. This means that we are not just innocent victims of circumstance who, through no fault of our own, are being buffeted about by things that are beyond our control. On the contrary, it means that we are co-creating our lives daily and hourly with every breath we take, and that we have been doing so for myriad lifetimes. If we do not like what is happening in our life, by changing the way we are thinking, feeling, speaking, and behaving, we have the ability to transform our earthly experiences into what we would like them to be. When I became aware of that truth, my overwhelming question was that if every form of knowledge on earth, both spiritual and academic, is revealing that both the good and the challenging things taking place in our lives are a result of the thoughts, feelings, words, and actions we have expressed since we were first breathed forth from the heart of God, why are we still in the mess we are in? Why in the world hasn't humanity taken the necessary steps to stop misusing our life force in ways that are causing pain and suffering for ourselves, our loved ones, and all life on this planet? Why do we keep empowering our fears and negativity by focusing on the things we do not want, instead of focusing on the positive and wonderful things that we do want to create in our life? After much contemplation, I knew that the answers to those questions were not outside of me. So I went within and asked my I Am Presence and my Father, Mother, God to reveal the answers to me. After a time of patience and remaining in a state of listening grace, the truth that we all have pulsating within the divinity of our heart flame began to surface into my conscious mind. The first thing our I Am Presence reveals to us when we go within to the divinity of our heart flame is that we are not our fear-based human ego. That is the fragmented part of our fallen consciousness that has been fighting tooth and nail since our fall from grace to maintain control of us and to survive in this chaotic world. The second thing our I Am Presence reveals to us is that we are actually a beloved child of God, and that all our Father, Mother, God have is our divine birthright. The only reason it is difficult for people to remember the oneness of all life is because we have accepted for millennia the fallacy that separation and duality are real. The belief that we are separate from each other has caused more problems than just about anything else. This erroneous belief gave our fear-based human ego its self-centered, dog-eat-dog, and looking out for number one attitude. As time progressed, we fell into such dense frequencies of our human miscreations that we lost the awareness of our I Am Presence. Our ego started believing that our physical body is all that we are, and that the physical plane is all that exists. When that happened, Our ego started believing that its very purpose and reason for being was to gratify our physical senses. Our ego decided that even if it needed to lie, steal, cheat, or kill to accomplish that self-obsessed goal of instant gratification, that would be okay. With that fateful decision, the horrific human miscreations of poverty, greed, corruption, violence, war, the abuse of power, oppression, hatred, selfishness, prejudice, pollution, disease, ignorance, and every other painful experience began manifesting on this planet. Now, after eons of time, due to the miracles that have been co-created over the past several decades through the unified efforts of heaven and awakening humanity, the company of heaven is confirming that everything has changed. These selfless messengers of our Father, Mother God are assuring us that if we pay attention, we will see tangible evidence of the unique awakening and the positive things that are taking place on Earth in 2025. Humanity is awakening at warp speed, and our fallen human egos no longer have the ability to manipulate and control us the way they once did. People everywhere are beginning to intuitively hear the inner voice of their I Am presence, and they are consciously receiving divine guidance once again. Every day, from within the recesses of our heart flame, our I Am presence is reminding us of profound truths that will empower each of us to reverse the adverse effects of our human ego's distorted perception and the painful miscreations from the past. In 2025, our Father, Mother God, the company of heaven, the Galactic Federation of Light, and our I Am presences are guiding us through activities of light. These events are designed to help us consciously remember in new ways that we are one with all life and that there is no separation. This means that there is no such thing as us and them. For many people, the concept of oneness just boggles the mind. For others, the oneness of all life seems like an impractical, sweet sentiment. Unfortunately, these people do not comprehend the magnitude of what that life-changing truth really means. This year, through the unified efforts of heaven and earth, we are being given the opportunity to experience and to fully understand what the oneness of all life means for humanity, the elemental kingdom, and Mother Earth. We are beginning to know that every single atomic and subatomic particle and wave of life throughout the whole of creation is interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent. With this sacred knowledge, we will realize that every minuscule expression of life that has ever been breathed forth from the heart of our Father, Mother God lives, moves, breathes and has its being in the all-encompassing divine matrix of our Father, Mother, God's body. The most consequential thing that we have forgotten about the fact that we are one with all life is that every single thought, feeling, word, or action we express at any given moment affects every facet of life in the body of our Father, Mother, God's divine matrix. This means that depending on our frame of mind and our frequency of vibration, with every breath we take, we are either adding to the light of the world or we are adding to the pain and suffering. Dear one, contemplate this information. Pay attention to what you are empowering with your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. See what you are focusing on and ask yourself if it is in alignment with what you want to create for yourself, your loved ones, humanity, and Mother Earth. And so it is, beloved, I am that I am. God bless you, dear one. I look forward to being with you next week.